Hello everyone, welcome to all. In the previous session, we have discussed about concept of stress and strain and elastic constants and finally mechanical properties of material. What are the mechanical properties like mm, ductility, malleability, toughness, fatigue, creep? What is the these mechanical properties? Okay, and in this session we are going to discuss about stress strain diagram for the mild steel or some kind of material at the same time, and then normal stress and true stress. There are two kinds of stresses, sir. Normal stress and the true stress. Normal stress is nothing but the theoretical stress, as well as the true stress is nothing but the practical stress. While performing the test, so what are the amount amount of stress induced within the body is called as practical stress. Practical stress is nothing but the true stress and the factor of safety. We are going to consider one more parameter here in order to design the system. And the next, what is meant by stress? Let me revise what we discussed in previous class. Stress is nothing but the when you load. So stress is nothing but the load per area of per unit cross sectional area. So suppose I consider a bar. So and whenever I apply some load at one end, a load called it as P, then at particular one section, in order to balance these external forces, some internal force has been developed within the body. These forces are induced within the body in order to balance this force, and at the same time it tends to bring back its equilibrium position. Okay, so these internal forces, summation of these internal forces per unit cross sectional area, we can call it as a stress. Okay, suppose how does stress distribution uh, for the section to section, how does the stress distribution per section to section, and then suppose if in case of suppose we consider a beam here. So while applying the P and the load at the both ends, the at a particular at the end of the section, let us consider a section at the end of the beam, at the complete edge of the beam, the stress distribution will be say unequal. Why? Because the entire load is it is concentrated at the center only. Okay, so at the edge of the beam, the stress distribution is like this. Okay, so there is unparalleled, so non-linear. At the center of the beam, it may be leads to high load. So at the so edge of the beam, we can call it so small load. Okay, the stress distribution is like this one. If in case of consider a section at the complete center of the beam, how does the stress distribution will occur, will take place like this one. So it's a uniform distribution. There is no change in the entire stress is they're distributed like a uniform. If in case of if I consider the section in the edge of the beam, the it's a non-uniform. Okay, it may be small, it may be a large in center of the beam. Okay, and then next, stress of types of stresses, as we know that tensile stress, compressive stress, shear stress. Okay, next, if you consider a tensile load, then there will be a tensile stress induced within the body. If you consider a compressive load, then there will be a compressive stress induced within the body. If in case of shear load, then shear stress will be induced. Okay. So the what kind of stress is directly proportional to the or depending upon the type of load. Okay. And then next, what is meant by strain? Strain is nothing but the change in length to the original length. So it has a no units. Why? Because so change in length is the unit of the length. Change in length is suppose meters. So if the original length is also meters, so meters is getting cancelled, then the units of the strain is no units. If in case of stress, the unit of the stress is Newton per mm square. Okay. If in case of Newton per mm square, Newton per meter square. Okay. How whatever it may be. If in case of strain, there is no units. Okay. If in case of what are the types of strains? Tensile strain, compressive strain, as well as the shear strain. Tensile strain, these two strains, we can call it as a linear strain. Okay. Whether it may be tensile strain, is the change in length is a delta L, this original length is L. So in case of tensile strain, the what is change in length by original length, as well as the compressive strain. This is the change while applying the compressive load. This is the change in length. So original length. So what is meant by compressive strain is nothing but the delta L by original length. Okay. If all these strains are acted in a linear direction, so we can call it as a linear strain. If in case of lateral strain, if you consider a lateral strain is nothing but the suppose if in case of lateral strain, if you consider a body here, if you consider a body here, so while applying the load, so I would like to apply a compressive load, and then after application of load, the body will be change its dimensions like this one. Okay. Is going to reduce in the length direction as well as the increase in the diameter lateral direction. Okay. So what is the original diameter of this B? So after the application of load, so there is a chance of change in dimension is a lateral direction. Lateral direction is nothing but the, if you consider this is the x direction, if the change occurred in x direction, we can call it as a linear strain. If a change in dimensions occurred in the y direction, we can call it as a lateral strain. Okay. If in case of change in length, we can consider as a linear strain. If we change in diameter, we can consider it as a lateral strain. So the strain has a no units. Okay. This is the lateral strain. So these two are the linear strains, whether it means tensile strain, compressive strain under the category of linear strain. Okay. This is the lateral strain. So how one more strain is there, shear strain. Shear strain is nothing but this is the cantilever beam which is upon which the load is acted upon at the edge of the beam, like this one, like this one. Then what will be happen while applying the after application of load, the body is tends to bending like this one, downwards direction. Okay, from B to, so for example A, B, C, D is the original length of the beam after application of load. So the B tends to reaches B dash and C tends to C dash. Okay, so A, B dash, C dash, D. So this is the after application of load. It's position of beam after application of load. So what is the deflection of the beam while applying the load? So deflection of this x from x. What is the difference between B dash to B is called as x. So what is the length of the beam? Y. We can just consider it as a y. So if in case of shear strain is nothing but the B dash to the ratio of B dash to AB. So it's the ratio of x to the y. We can call it as a shear strain. Okay. As we consider that this is the 90 degrees centigrade. So tan phi equals to opposite side by adjacent side. So opposite side by x and the adjacent side is y. Okay. So these are the volumetric strain. One more volumetric strain is change in volume by original volume. So as usual, suppose the original volume is like suppose x meter cube. The original volume is x meter cube. The change in volume is, sorry, so this is the original volume of the beam before application of the load. After application of the load, there is might be chance to change in the volume. So what is meant by, what is the change in volume? Change in volume. So volumetric strain is nothing but the ratio between the change in volume to the original volume. So volumetric strain is the original. What is the change in volume? Change in volume is nothing but L cube minus L minus delta L cube. This L minus delta L cube is the change in length. This is the final volume. Okay, so L minus L delta L cube is nothing but the final volume. So initial volume minus final volume by, with reference to the, what is the reference between what is the reference is what we consider it is original volume, we can consider it as a reference. So with reference to original value, how does the material change its volume? Okay, neglecting small quantities, nothing but the delta L cube. We can consider small values by equating these two. The ultimate condition is, so volumetric strain is nothing but the is 3 times of normal strain, linear strain. Okay, we just need to consider it is important. Okay, 3 times. Why? Because 3 times is nothing but so it might be change in x direction, it might be change in y direction, it might be change in x direction and y direction, and at the same time z direction. Okay, so in 3 direction the volume might be changes. So in simple format, the volumetric strain is nothing but the 3 times of linear strain. Okay, and the next concept is elastic constant. As we know that modulus of elasticity, what is my modulus of if you consider a relation between stress and strain, the Young's modulus is or modulus of elasticity is nothing but the the stress to the ratio of stress to strain. We can consider as a modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus, which denotes as by E, capital E, or modulus of rigidity. And before that one, what is meant by how do we? So what are while designing the while we consider this what kind of material we should use to do. So it's only the strength of the materials in strength of is represented by the Young's modulus only. Okay. And in case of modulus of rigidity, the ratio between the shear stress to shear strain. So shear stress to shear strain we can call it as a modulus of rigidity. And then bulk modulus is nothing but the direct stress by volumetric strain. Volumetric strain, what we have discussed already, we have discussed direct stress to the volumetric strain. Okay, bulk modulus. And then these are the mechanical properties of a material. Okay, strength is defined as the capacity to resist external loads. And then modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity is nothing but stress to strain up to within elastic limit. We can call it as a, the ratio between stress and strain up to the elastic limit. You can call it as a modulus of elasticity. And the ductility is the ability of material to deform under tensile loads. A material can withstand only tensile loads. We can call it as a proper ductility. Okay, so tensile loads is nothing but the similarly like this one. Okay, a material can have a capability to absorb the only tensile loads, which can change their dimension in length direction only. Okay, so if in case of malleability, the ability of a material which can accept or sustain only compressive loads. So if in case of while already we have aware of about this forging operations upon which some anvil is there, upon which the material will be placed on some we are keep on applying the some external forces like with through the hammer. So anvil has a material of cast iron. So in cast iron has a capability of uh, malleability, which can resist only compressive loads only. Okay. And the next brittleness is nothing but the glass of the property of a material glass. You can call it as a brittleness is a fracture with a very little deformation, so the which does not allow us to heavy deformation within 1 mm, within change in volume 1 mm, it may be chance of getting fracture. Okay, low percentage of elongation. And then hardness is nothing but the ability of material to resist abrasion, scratching, or the indentation, whatever it may be, abrasion or geethal paddam. And then scratching, next abrasion is nothing but wear and tear, and the scratching is nothing but the some external remarks. Okay, and the indentation nothing but the some impressions, some while preparing the Vinayak ideal, so we apply some external force, so we can call it as indentation. Okay, is resilience nothing but the ability of metal to store energy within elastic limit. We will discuss in this situation. Fatigue strength is nothing but the I would like to break a stick, a group of sticks. Fatigue is nothing but the I would like to apply a stick. I would like to break a stick. So okay, I would like to break a stick. So what should I do? What should I do? So after repeated and reversed, so first of all, I just bend like this direction, and then next in left side direction. After repeated these cycles, so now for number of times, the end at the end finally the stick getting failure. Okay, so this is the process of operate indefinitely without failure. Operate indefinitely without failure. Suppose I bend this sticks with 10 times. 10 times. So after the 11th, after the 10 times, while applying the 11th time, So the stick getting, the beam getting fractured. Okay. So what is the fatigue strength is M times. So you can apply the any type of load with the same load with number of number of, what is the maximum number of times is 10 times. So we can consider it as a, the beam consider having fatigue strength of 10 times. Okay. And next, creep in nothing but the slow and progressive deformation of a material with respect to time. So I placed a beam and upon which a force is acted. After 1 year, after 1 year, the body will getting some deformation. Okay, from 5 mm to 10 mm, 5 mm to 10 mm. Okay, 10 mm. So slow so every month is getting a deformation of 1 mm, 2 mm, 1.5 mm, or 0.0 mm. Okay, it's a slow and progressive deformation of material with respect to time. Yeah. We need to consider it as a, with respect to time, after completion of 6 months, after completion of 1 year, after completion of 2 4 3 years, 2 3 4 years, like this one. Okay. And next, in this session, we are going to discuss about you what is meant by universal testing machine. How do we perform the testing? How do you perform the tensile test? Okay, or this is the equipment, we can call it as a universal testing machine. So by using this equipment, we are going to perform tensile test as well as the compression test. So to perform these two tests, nowadays this test, this machine has been applied used for them. Okay, so this is the equipment. It will look like this one. This is the digital, so analog meter. Okay, like this one. Load indicator, how much load we can apply. Actually we use it to apply, is displayed on the this diagram, this dial gauge. Okay, so this is the upper cross head. Okay, we can call it as upper cross head, and the space for tensile specimen. So in between these two arms, so we are going to place here. So in between these two arms, we are going to place a specimen here, like this one. Okay, in between these two arms, we are going to place a specimen here. While applying the, so we are going to apply the loads in here in this direction. Okay, in this direction. So in this direction, so the tensile loads which acts on in this direction. So after certain point of time, after certain point of application of load and the certain, if the respect to some time, though some crack is has been formed in between the at the edge of, at the center of the beam. Okay, after continuous application of load, so the crack will propagate in any direction, and the specimen getting fractured. Okay, this is the crack. And the next, while applying the for compressive load, so if in case of, if you consider the compressive testing machine, so the specimen is applied in like this, on position in this direction. Okay, so this is the specimen here. So while applying for the, while performing the compressive test, the specimen is placed in between these two arms, movable. This is the movable crosshead. This is the fixed crosshead. Okay, so in between, in this kind of testing, so the movable crosshead is moving with the in this direction. Okay, so the load is applied with the, sorry, in this direction. Okay, so it's always the load is acts, this load, the load is acted by the movable crosshead. Okay, always in vertical direction. Okay, whether it is a tensile or whether it is a compressive, this moves, the load is acted only in vertically downward direction. Okay, so after some time of time, after some application, after some time, after some amount of force has been applied upon the beam, the some crack, there will be some crack, and then crack will be propagate. So some breakage has been applied happened. Okay, this is the speed control valve. Speed control valve is nothing but the how do, this is the speed control valve. So on tear this, what is the, this is the lead screw mechanism, and lead screw mechanism which is connected here, which is connected to the speed controller, at the same time load indicator. Here the load C will already some loads are has been, here some loads are has been placed here. Okay, some dead weights are upon which 10 kilonewtons, 5 kilonewtons is variable is available here. Okay, so if you apply the 5 kilonewtons, the 5 kilonewton stone will be acted on this direction. If you apply the 10 kilonewtons, the 10 kilonewton stone will be, it will be applied. Okay, and the next, this is the universal testing machine look like. So what kind of materials we have? Engineering materials. So in the entire engineering materials are subcategory or subclassified into four kind of materials. First one is the metals, and then the second one is the plastics, and the ceramics and others, and the final one is the composite. Composite nothing but the reinforced plastics or metal matrix or ceramic matrix, laminates nothing but the you just place the number of reinforced plastic. Reinforcement is nothing but the addition of, suppose reinforced concrete. In concrete we apply in the, we separately we add the iron, so we can call it as a reinforced. Reinforced is nothing but the addition addition of metals, metal matrix. Ceramics is nothing but the, as we call the wash basin, we can, this kind of materials we can under the category of ceramics. Under laminates nothing but the, suppose one material is placed here, and over this material one more material will be placed, will be there. So this is the laminates. So number of materials will be placed over by one. Okay, this is called it as the laminates. And the next metals were under the category of ferrous, non-ferrous, and amorphous. Amorphous is nothing but the, some kind of powders. Okay, steels under the ferrous condition. Those who have ferrous, nothing but the metals. Those who have getting corrosion, we can call it as a ferrous material. The materials, those who do not getting corrosion, we can call it as a non-ferrous materials. So steel getting ferrous, and the stainless steel tools and die steel cast iron. Cast iron is nothing but the, okay, cast irons, steels under the category of ferrous. So these are getting corrosion. Getting chance of corrosion. Okay, if in case of aluminum, copper, non-ferrous material, they do not getting corrosion. Aluminum, example, aluminum, copper, zinc, titanium, tungsten, other kind of materials are not getting corrosion. Okay, no, no getting corrosion. Okay, amorphous material is nothing but the powder form of material. Mm, sorry. So powder form of, in this one situation, no corrosion. No corrosion. No, Karush. If in case of plastics, thermoplastic, thermosetting plastics, elastomers, as you know, thermoplastic which can be recycled, thermosetting plastic which cannot be recycled. Okay, and the elastomers, nothing but the rubber, silicon, so polystyrene. These are another category of elastomers. Under the category of thermosetting plastics, if epoxies, thermosetting plastics, phenolics, thermosetting plastics, and the polymers. These are the category of under the category of thermosetting plastics. Okay, nylon, PVC, polyvinyl chloride. PVC is nothing but the some kind of in electrical applications we are using PVC pipes. Okay, PVC pipes we can polyvinyl chloride and polythene lens, nylon we can we're using for the drying for the cloth, ABS and acrylics. These are the under category of plastics. Okay, ceramics materials, oxides, nitrates, carbates, and glasses. Glasses are also under the category of ceramics. So, which has a higher higher property of brittleness. Okay, brittleness property. It has a property of high brittleness property. So, on composes as we discussed earlier. So, how does we perform the tensile test machine? Okay, in ancient days, in olden days, we just a beam is a specimen. You can call it a specimen, and a beam is placed in between these work holding devices. Okay, these work holding devices. After sometimes application of is like this one, and is like this one. Some there may be chance of getting some crack here at the edge, at the center of the beam, at the center of the specimen, and then the crack will be propagated after successful application of force. So entire the graph is you can call it as some extensometer. A separate device we can observe here. This is called as extensometer. Extensometer is nothing but the which okay. We can this is the extension separate device which has a extensometer which records every graph, which records the graph. What is the with respect to stress and with respect to strain. Okay, with respect to stress and strain, which extensometer is a device which measures, which draws a graph corresponding to the test which one we are going to perform. Okay, this is called extensometer, which records the graph between how does the stress strain changes with respect to time. Okay. Hold for a moment. And while performing this kind of testing, whether it may be tensor or compressor, we need to follow some guidelines for the uh, maintaining the specimen. Okay, These are the standard dimensions for the specimen. We should follow these dimensions. Okay, this is we can call this a grip section. This is the from here to here the overall length. We can call this overall length, and this is the distance between these shoulders. This okay, and this is the gauge length. This is the gauge length, and this is the dia width, or this reducer section. So from here to here the reducer section and the width of the grip section. In the x direction, you can call it as a width of the grip section. This is the standard dimension for the diameter should be 13 mm and the internal diameter should be the 9 mm, and this is the fillet. Here you are applying the some fillet here. The fillet should be the radius of 18 mm, 8 mm, and then the length of the shoulder should be the 40 mm on both sides. This is the 40 mm also, this is the 40 mm also. And reduced, what you call a reduced section. Reduced section is nothing but the from here to here is 45 mm. Okay, or this is the gauge length. Okay, gauge length should be 45 mm. Sorry, be 45 mm. Okay. And the next, we are going to perform, we are going to observe how does the graph changes from starting to final, from starting to before the crack formation and after the crack formation and getting at the time of getting fracture. Okay, this is the initial specimen. This is the specimen of at the initial stage, and this specimen is going to place in between these two holders, shoulders, and after the completion of some formation of crack and after completion getting fracture. So this is the shape of the specimen. Okay, this is the cone. You can call it as, this is the cone and this is the cup. Cup is nothing but the cavity, a cavity formed within the body. Okay. Uh, so while this is the very important parameters in the entire stress of materials, this is the stress, and we can obtain, we can the y-axis represents as a stress and the x-axis represents as a strain. So what is the relation between corresponding load? So this is the A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, F dash. Uh, the point A, you can call it as a limit of proportionality. Before going that, limit of proportionality is nothing but so before going the load divided by original cross sectional area is called a normal stress or simply as stress. Load divided by original cross sectional area. Okay, and the next gauge length. These gauge lengths are uh, readings by the extensometer. Extensometer, what we already we have discussed about that extensometer, which measures, which produce a graph over how does the operation performed. Okay, raising by grip to grip specimen and shows the stress and strain diagrams typical meal specimen. So linear, suppose at point A, we can call it as limit of proportionality. Limit of proportionality is nothing but it is the limiting value of stress up to which stress is proportional to strain. Up to which stress is proportional to strain. Suppose here here is the 50 newtons. Here is the 100 newtons. The corresponding strain will be the corresponding strain will be the or 10 mm. So not that much of 5 mm only. Okay. Okay. Suppose can I clear all these drawings? I will provide a specific. 50 kilonewtons as well as the 100 kilonewtons. Okay. So this is the load corresponding to the, this is the load corresponding to the at 5 mm. This is the load corresponding to the, sorry, this is the load at a particular point. This is the load corresponding to the 2 mm, corresponding to the 50. While we applying the 550 kilonewtons of the force, we're just getting only 2 mm deflection. Okay. While we applying the 100 kilonewtons of load, just we are getting only 5 mm deflection. Okay. So this is the what is when so every, so which is called it as a directly proportional. So up to which one? Suppose 10 kilonewtons. Suppose 10 kilonewtons, we obtain the 1 mm. Okay. So if in case of 20 kilonewtons, if in case of 20 kilonewtons, it will be the 2 mm. Okay. If in case of 30 kilonewtons, it's a 3 mm. Thirty kilonewtons, we obtain only 3 mm. Okay. If in case of 40, so what is meant by is every 10, if every, while increasing every 10 kilonewtons, we are getting only 1 mm deflection. So it's nothing but the stress is directly proportional to the strain. Okay. Directly proportional to the strain. So we just obtain the, we just remove the proportional limit. You can call it as a, we just consider one more elastic constants. So E is nothing but the, in order to remove this proportionality, we just assume, we just consider one elastic or one constant here. So this constant we can call it as a Young's modulus or elasticity. Okay. So up to particular A point, the stress is directly proportional to the strain. Okay. So this is called limit of proportionality. And the next, elastic limit. Elastic limit is nothing but the this is the limiting value of stress up to which of the material is stressed and then released and stress disappears completely, and the original length is be regained. So it's nothing but the, suppose when I apply some load upon a particular body, so after application of load, when I remove these loads, the after application of loads, the body which tends to some elongate. Okay. While we remove this load, the body again brings back to its original position. Okay. It brings back to its original position after removal of load. After removal of load, is this body is again brings back to its original position. This is the property of elasticity. So this is the limiting value, stress up to this is the limiting value at which the limiting value, the stress up to which the material is stressed. Okay. Material is under the load and upon which load is acted upon the body, and the release when the unloaded is nothing but when I remove the force, the strain disappears completely. Strain will be disappears completely. The original length will be regained. Okay. This point is slightly beyond the limit of proportionality. It's not. This is not the far, not so far between now so far from the A is almost beyond the B, beyond the point of A. Okay, this is the elastic limit. And the next B, upper yield point. Upper yield point is nothing but the, this is the stress at which the load starts reducing. The load starts reducing. Okay, and extension increases. Load starts reduce. Load starts reducing, and the extension will be increases. Extension will be increased. Just have a look at the graph. So from here, from after the point of B, the stress will be the is going to be reducing magnitude. Okay, even the reducing magnitude, the corresponding strain will be the increases. Okay, from 5 mm to 10 mm, the corresponding strain will be the increases. So at a particular point, the stress will be the here. After some time here. So it may be even the reducing loading also, it may be leads to some deformation. Okay, it leads to some deformation. Some strain has been developed within the body. So uh, look at this, a load starts reducing and the extension increases. The phenomenon is called yielding of material. Okay, at the stage, at this stage, the strain is about 0.125% and the stress is about 250 kilonewton, 250 newton per mm square. Okay, after reduce, this is the stage of yielding point. At the yielding stage, given the reduction of stress also, the strain will be increases. Okay, up to this one, up to proportional limit, the stress, while the stress increase goes and increases, which which responds to or corresponding to the strain. And the next upper yield point, and the next lower yield point. At this stage, the stress remains same, but strain increases for the some time. This is the C. You can call it as a lower yield point. At B, upper yield point. C. The stress is constant, but the strain is also goes and increases. You can call it as a lower yield point. And the next ultimate stress. Ultimate stress nothing but the this is the ultimate stress upon which this is the maximum stress throughout the performing test. Okay, the maximum stress the metal can resist it. The stress is about 370 to 400 newton per mm square. Newton per mm square. At this stage, cross section area at particular section starts reducing very fast. Cross section area of the particular section starts reducing very fastly. This is called neck formation. After stage load resisting, after stage 2, after this stage load resisting, and the stress developed starts reducing. This is the ultimate point where the material can after this one, uh, after this one, the load will be stuck. Okay, ultimate stress, the maximum stress material can, the maximum stress that the material can resist is about 370 to 400 newton per mm square. And the 400 newton per this is the unit for the stress. So newton per mm square, actually the unit is newton per meter square, newton per meter square, where in the you can call it as a Pascal. Okay, so if in case of megapascal is nothing but the 10 power 6 into newton per meter square, newton per meter square. So 10 power 6 is nothing but the, as you know that 10 power 6 and newton, if you consider the 1000 1 meter equals to 1000 mm, mm square, then 10 cube into 10 cube whole square. So what will be the 10 power 6? 10 power 6 Newton per 10 power 6 mm square. Okay. So on this 10 power 6, this 10 power 6 getting cancelled. Okay. This is the Newton per mm square. So 1 megapascal is equals to, just observe this units guys. 1 megapascal equals to, sorry, is equals to 10 power 10 power 6, 10 power 6, sorry, 1 Newton mm square, Newton per mm square. 1 megapascal equals to 1 Newton per mm square. And the next breaking point. Breaking point is the stress at which the finally the specimen falls is called fails, is called breaking point. Fails is the at which this is the breaking point at which the material will getting fracture. Now split into two pieces. Here at the ultimate stress the crack will be formed. At the ultimate stress the crack will be formed on the and then later by successive addition of the stress load by there will be change in stress as well as the there will be crack will be propagation, the increase in crack, and then the particular point E, the entire specimen getting into two, split into two pieces, the fracture will be happen. Okay. So this is the stress and relation between the aluminum and the high carbon steel. Okay, aluminum, this is the kind of materials for the high tensile specimens, the graph will be the here like this one. Okay, if in case of brittle material there is no near. So one more condition is what we discussed is the main parameter is elasticity, plasticity. As we know, up to the this is the B, the point A, you call an elastic limit. So after removal of load, after removal of load, the material will getting regain its original shape. So this is called elasticity. This is the plasticity. So up to the point here, this is the proportional limit. Up to the proportional limit, the material after when I was would like to remove the load, the material will getting regain its original shape. This is called as the elasticity. The property up to which this property is called it as a elasticity. And the next does not regain after even after application of load or after, even after the removal of load also, there is no regain its original shape. Okay, there is no chance of regain its original shape. It is continuously deformed within themselves. They can call it as a plasticity. So in brittle materials, there is only elasticity. There is no plasticity. So brittle material, the graph will be like this one. It's a like the curve is like this one. And if in case of tensile or ductile materials, the graph will be like this one. Okay. This is the parameters we need to write down our observations, like percentage of elongation L dash minus L by L into 100. L is the original length and the L dash is the length of the rupture, as we discussed about. And the percentage reduction area, original area and the final area to the reference of original area into 100. Okay, this is the readings we need to write down while performing the test. Okay, and then normal stress as well as the true stress. Normal stress is nothing but the, so this is the graph. We know that this is the, actually this is the theoretical graph. So while applying the practical, will go for the practical, the graph will be the like this one. Okay, what is the theoretical one is the normal stress. Okay, this is the practical stress. Theoretical is the normal stress, and the ratio between the load and original cross sectional area. If in case of true stress, the load and actual cross sectional area. Okay, and factor of safety. Factor of safety is nothing but the ultimate, the ratio between ultimate stress to the working stress. So suppose I would like to design a bicycle. I would like to design a bicycle. So upon which uh, two people are going to sit. Okay, uh, if I one more person adding, if I add one more person here, so the bicycle will be getting chance of failure and getting fracture. So what is the while designing the equipments, while designing the, so while designing the equipments, we are going to consider this factor of safety parameter. Okay, so what is the ultimate stress? Well, the ultimate stress is only the bicycle has a capability of 2% only. Okay, it has a capable of 2%. uh, and the actual is the working load is 3%. So it may be leads to getting failure. This is the consider, we need to consider factor of safety, nothing but the ultimate stress by working stress. That's enough. In next class we are going, we will be soon. Thank you.